This is a digital picture book retrospective of the Odyssey, written by Homer. Presented by Sammy Hubbard. Photos by Google Images. Once upon a time there was a mighty warrior king named Odysseus. He fought in the Trojan War and was the one that brought the Greeks to victory. Then Odysseus and his men raided Troy. This angered the gods, and was part of the reason why it took so long for him to return home. This was the first part of his very bad luck. It had been 10 years since the 10-year war had ended, but Odysseus still wasn't back to his kingdom, Ithaca, where he had to leave his queen, Penelope, and his son, Telemachus. In Ithaca, the young prince, Telemachus, was grown up. But other men wanted to marry Penelope, to get control over Ithaca, and Odysseus' things, because they thought he was dead. The suitors ate and took all of Odysseus's things. But Queen Penelope was faithful to Odysseus and continued to wait for him. In the land of Scheria, Odysseus was welcomed in the palace. He told the story of how he got there. Going home after the war, his ship came across the land of the Lotus Eaters. The Lotus Eaters gave Odysseus and his men special fruit which caused them to forget about going home. Odysseus then quickly gathered his men and sailed far away. Odysseus and his men then arrived at an island inhabited by big, mysterious, one-eyed beasts called Cyclops. While searching the island, they came across a cave full of sheep and food, but realized it was home to Poseidon's son, Polyphemus, and they were trapped. To get Polyphemus to move the big rock blocking the exit, Odysseus gave him a drink to make him fall asleep. Then he blinded him, and told him his name was Nobody. Odysseus and his men then escaped the cave by hiding with the sheep. As Odysseus' ship sailed away, his pride got the best of him and he revealed his true name to Polyphemus. Angry, Polyphemus called upon his father Poseidon to exact revenge on Odysseus. While trying to sail to Ithaca, they encountered Aeolus, the god of winds, and he gave them a bag of wind to send them home, but they were not to open the bag for 7 days. Despite Odysseus' warning, his men opened the bag, sending them far from Ithaca, first to the land of the cannibal giants, and eventually, to the island of Circe. Circe turned Odysseus' men into pigs and he went to her to help them. On the way, he met Hermes, who gave him a plant that made him immune to her power, but he had to obey her. Although Circe couldn't turn him into an animal, he stayed there for a year thinking they were only days. Odysseus went to the underworld to see his future. Tiresias told him that he had angered Poseidon and how to get home. True to his word, after coming back from the land of the dead, Odysseus returned to the island of Circe to bury his fellow soldier, Elpenor. Circe was helpful once more, providing supplies and warnings about the 3 obstacles in his journey that began the next dawn. Circe told Odysseus of the sirens, and the monsters, Scylla, and the whirlpool, Charybdis. To pass the sirens, the men put earwax in their ears, so the sirens' singing wouldn't lure them. But still, he told his men to tie him to the mast. They passed Scylla and Charybdis by sailing close to Scylla. They landed on Helios Island and ate the cattle. But Zeus killed his men in revenge by sinking their ship. Now alone, Odysseus arrived on Calypso's island. He was forced to stay for 7 years with Calypso because she liked him, but he loved Penelope. The gods forced Calypso to set him free at Athena's urging. As Odysseus was going home, Poseidon destroyed his raft and Odysseus washed up on the island of Scheria. The princess found him and took him to the palace where he was welcomed. After he told his story, King Alcinous sent him home to Ithaca. Athena disguised him as an old beggar and Odysseus went to his loyal swineherd. Eumaeus. While there, his son, Telemachus, visited Eumaeus. Odysseus showed his true form and the two united as father and son. Together, they made a plan to overthrow the suitors. Telemachus told Penelope it was time to choose a suitor, so she held a competition. Whoever strung and shot Odysseus's bow would be the new king. But she knew only Odysseus would win. The suitors gave up on the bull. Odysseus successfully did it and showed his true self. While the stringing was occurring, Telemachus and the swineherds took away all the weapons. After Odysseus defeated the suitors in an epic fight, he went to see Penelope. She didn't believe he was Odysseus at first. But, after testing him, she was sure. Penelope asked the maids to move her bed, but Odysseus told her that it could not be done because their bed was a tree. And so it ended. After so many years apart, they were finally together again. They embraced each other and lived happily ever after. Forever. The end.